Hello. So, another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. Amazing song, fantastic solo, really, really soulful, loads of crazy bends in it, a lot of fun to play and a lot of fun to learn. So here's how we go. Let's break it down. First part, this strum that we have here. So what he's doing here is a D minor, and the actual chord itself, if we get a little bit closer, is like this, right? So we've got your first finger is creating a bar on the 5th fret. It's actually just going really up to the A string over here, and then you're forming this chord shape here, which is your 3rd finger is going on the 7th fret of the D, little finger's going on the 7th fret of the G, and your 2nd finger is going on the 6th fret of the B. Okay, so from the A string onwards, it's a D minor chord. However, just to make this comfortable, what I tend to do is I just rest my finger across all of the 5th fret strings, just so that I'm not having to be too precise. Once you're there, the strum goes like this. If I do it without the crazy kind of scratchy bits, it's like this. Okay, so you got down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And what you've got to do is in between, when it goes completely silent, so there, what you do is you release the pressure with your left hand so that it's still on the strings, but it mutes them instantly. So you got off, back down again, off, back down again, and off again. Okay, so in between the phrases, you're muting the strings by just lifting your left hand. So you've got. What you can do then to add a little bit of kind of the funk to it is put a little bit of a in between stuff. So you've got. And all I'm doing there is, as I'm lifting that hand up, releasing the pressure to mute those, to mute that D minor chord, you've still kind of got your hands on the strings, so you can get this effect, and that's when you do the. All right, so you've got to. All right, etc. The next bit, when it goes into the "Hey teacher, leave them kids alone" bit, is up here. Okay, and what we're doing here is a G power chord I'm doing. So we're on the, what's that work out to? The 10th fret of the A string. And then what I've got is my little finger, or you can use your 3rd finger, whichever you're more comfortable with, doing a bar across the D and the G strings. All right, so 1st finger on the A, 10th fret, your 3rd, or your little finger, whichever you're more comfortable with, on the 12th fret, D and G, and that gives you a G power chord, or G5. All right, like this. And the way you play it on the record, there's kind of 2 guitar things going on. One of them is just going doing the 16th note strum, which is absolutely fine. There's another one which is doing this kind of thing. All right, right? So you can mix them up. You can do it however you like. I like to mix them up a little bit and just do something which just sounds a bit cool. So kind of like... And it's going to go back to the D minor. Take your fingers off apart from the bar. Put them back down again. So you got to... All right. Then you're going to go to the 10th fret of the E and the B strings. I do this with my little finger, and I'll explain to you why. From that D minor, it's the nearest finger to move to there, so it's less movement basically. So little mini bar on the 10th fret, E and B strings. Then you've got the same mini bar happening on the 8th fret, twice on the 10th. Back there again. All right, so a bit of a weird one to show you. Let me give you let me show you this way a second. All right, so after you've done that, you're going to do this kind of D shape over here, which is you've got your G string and E string at the 7th frets, first, second fingers. Your third finger is going to get in between them on the 8th fret of the B. So you've got this. So far we've got and here down, up, down, go back by 2 frets, same shape, 1 strum there, and then we're going to do an F bar chord up here, okay? So that bit becomes listen to the record for an idea of the timing, but it is basically like that. That move back to the F bar chord's a little bit of a stretch. Practice it. If you find that you're finding that a little bit tricky, you can always just do an F power chord when you get there instead. After you've done that, you're going to do a C. I'll do it as a C sus2 over here. Okay, so what you got is your first finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then it's kind of like doing a C bar chord like this, but instead you're just going to use your first 2 fingers to play the. So you got the first finger on the 3rd fret of the A, 3rd finger, 5th fret of the D, little finger, 5th fret of the G, and there's a C sus2. All right, so that bit becomes we've got how we were to. Then you've got the C sus2. Then you go back into the D minor. Back to the F, and the C sus2, and to a D, the D sus2. Okay, so that's just basically the C sus2 shape moved up by 2 frets. They've got the whole bit here now where the kids start yelling and screaming, we don't need no education. And in between that, it's just this D minor chord, this funky thing happening again, but slightly different. So it does something like this. That's when the kids are not yelling. When they start yelling, it changes to something like this. And back into. Okay, that entire thing kind of, you can hear it from the record, it kind of cycles around, so you're back on the G, back onto this, and eventually it'll finish on that D, and then it gets into the solo, okay? So the solo is like this. We start at the 13th fret of the B string, and the way I do it is I've got my little finger there, I've got my first finger ready on the 10th fret of the B, because I'm going to pick 13, pull off to 10. So got, then we're going to do 12 on the G, a bit of a bend, back to 10 on the B, so got, okay. Then you're going to do 12 on the G, bend, 10 on the B, 10 on the E. Alright, so that bit is. Then you're going to get to 13 on the B, pick it, and a full step bend. Alright, so we've got. Then you're going to do a mini bar on the B and G strings at the 10th fret, and you're going to go. Then you've got this massive bend coming up. This could hurt your fingers, okay? So there's 2 ways you could do this. It's actually a bend at the 13th fret of the B, which goes a whole step, and then it goes another step on top of that. So it's like this. And then it comes back down. That's a bit painful. What you could do instead, 13th fret of the B, hammer down onto the 15th fret, then bend up one step. So you got, come back on the 13th fret of the B string. Okay, after that, so that's again 13 on the B, pulling off to 10 on the B, 12 on the G, pick it, bend up a full step, next bit. Now what I'm doing here is 10 to 9, pull off on the G, pick 12 on the D, pick that 9 on the G again. So we've got so far. Okay. Then I'm sliding from 10 on the D to 12, moving over and picking 12 on the G, and then back on 12 on the D. All right, so that bit sounds like this. One more time. Next bit, something like this. Okay, so that's going to be 10 on the G, coming back to 12 on the D. Then a mini bar, fret 10 on the B and G strings, and we're going to do that, and we're also going to come back onto 12 on the D, and it sounds like this. Alright, so what I'm doing there, mini bar, picking the D, back on here again, then the third time, the mini bar there at the 10th fret, take that up to the 12th fret, play the 10th again, and give it a bit of a bend. So that sounds like this. Alright, next bit, you've got this cool rake and bend. Sounds like this. And what I'm doing here, you can actually just rake it. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get yourself so that your fingers are on the 13th fret of the E, where you're going to do this full step bend. Okay. So you can rake it by just muting with your right hand, your palm, rest across the strings. You can rake across them. All right, and open up obviously when you get to the E string, so that note comes out. However, what I think sounds cooler is if you kind of outline the chord or the kind of the start and end notes that you're trying to get to, even though you're not actually playing the notes, you're muting them. It just makes it sound more like it's kind of in tune of a chord, right? So this is what I do. I make sure that my third finger, when I start this rake, is on the 12th fret of the D, all right? And when I get to the end of the rake, when I'm on the E string, my first finger is kind of hovering around the 10th fret of the E. Now, like I said, you're not really playing the notes, you're just raking across them, but your fingers are on them, so you end up sounding like this. All right? So you're kind of hearing it, but it's muted. Doesn't matter how you do it, that's just how I do it. So you got then 13th fret of the E, full step bend. Okay, you release the bend, and you're going to play 13 and 12. And the way I'm doing it is pick, pick, pull off. So that whole bit becomes like that. Now, another big bend coming up. I'm going to do a bit of a cheat here, right? So it's the B string, and my fingers are getting sore. B string, 13th fret, hammer on to 15th fret of the B. So go bend up a full step, bend up again. All right, so we've got okay, next bit. This bit's cool. Okay, so what I'm doing here, familiar blues kind of lick, 13th fret, 12th fret of the G, bend up, so the mini bar on the 10th fret, B and E, and you play those two, so you got, then I'm picking 13 on the B, pulling off to 10, picking 12 on the G, so you got, alright. Then you're doing a pre-bend, 12th fret of the G, releasing it. So it's kind of just under a half step, I think. Could do a whole step. And when it comes down, I'm pulling off to 10 on the G. So we've got... Actually, you could pick it. It's alright. Then, pick 12 on the G, pull off to 10, pick 12 on the D. Alright, so now we've got... Then, that's 10 on the G, coming back to 12 on the D. Alright, so sticking it together. It's a bit long, this one. Alright, one more time. Then, what you're doing here is a double string pull off, okay? Yeah, I'm kind of barring the 12th fret of the D and the G, playing those two, pulling them both off at the same time with that one finger to the 10th fret. Then coming back to the 12th fret on the A. Alright, so far. And from here, pick up the 12th fret of the A, pull off onto the 10th, slide back to the 8th. That's no, second. Yeah, 8th, right, so that's right. Yes. Pick 12, pull off to 10, slide back to 8. So now we've got... Then, okay, that is 10 on the A, pull off to 8, 10 on the E, 8 on the E, and back to 10 again. So now we got... And then you just finish off with a... Which is just 8 and 10. Let's slide back. So the whole bit... Next bit. This is on the D string, sliding from the 5th to the 7th. 5 and 7 on the G. 5 on the B. Hammer on 6th. Pull off onto 5. 7 on the G. Alright, so now we've got... Play 7 on the G again. Pull off to 5. 5 on the D. So now we've got... Okay, then you're going to go... So with your first finger, you're going to grab the 5th fret of the G and bend it up a whole step. Alright, then 7 on the G, pick and pull back onto the 5, then get your second finger onto the 6th fret of the B, bend it up. Alright, so that bit is... Then, big bend coming up here again. We're back onto the 13th fret of the B, and you're going to go... Big bend again. Now, we're going to go to the... What's that work out to? 19/20th fret of the B string. A bit of a rake here again. Bend it up a whole step. Release the bend. Oh, release the bend, so we got... Oh, sorry. And then you're going to go, okay, so what's that work out to? 15, 17, 18. Is that right? 15, 17, yeah, 18. That's right, isn't it? 19. Oh, that previous one I did, sorry, was a 20th fret. Is that what I said? Well, if I didn't, it was a 20th fret. So that bends on the 20th fret. And then you're going to do this 12, hang on, 12, we'll count this, 12, 15, 17, 18, right, okay. Then 18 on the B. Pull off to 15. Alright, so that bit becomes... Next bit. So I'm sliding up on the D string and I'm heading towards this fret here. Alright, so that fret is... I can't count it. 15, 17, 19. Alright, 19th fret. So I'm heading towards the 19th fret on the D, but I'm not actually deliberately kind of getting all the way up to it. I'm just stopping when it kind of feels about right. I'm kind of taking my finger off when I get close to it. And I'm ending up on 18th fret of the B. So we've got, then I'm going back to 17 on the B. This counting's hard, man. 17, 19, then 20 on the B. Hold it up there a second. Release it. Okay, and we're back on 19 on the G. So that bit's like this. Now we're going to go 20 on the E. Bend it, give it a wobble. Then you're going to pull off from 20 to 17 twice. Okay, so that bit now sounds like this. Then we're going to go. This is 10 on the B and the G. Oh, one more time with the right strings. So downstroke. And then I'm going to 12 on the D. The next bit's quite a cool bit. So we're going to do a slide with a little bit of a strum, and we're going to slide into a chord rather, and give it a bit of a funky strum. Okay, so this bit goes like this. So we just done. Okay, so the chord I'm sliding into is this, which is going to be, in fact, it's going to be, that is 14th fret of the D, 12th fret of the G, 13th fret of the B. Okay, so I'm doing this as a kind of a bar like this, which looks kind of like this. And the three notes we're going for: 14 on the D, 12 on the G, 13 on the B. And the way I'm doing this is sliding into it. Alright, then you're going to play with those fingers off. You're just going to do the bar. So you got. Then you go back to the 10th fret. So. Okay, but you can funky it up a little bit. So. Alright, so nearly there. Next bit. I'm going to the 10th fret of the G, bit of a bend, 12 and 10 on the D, so bit of a slide back, then finishes with a. Alright, so go. And that bit is just, that's 10 on the A, going back to 8, going back to 10 again, and 8, and hammering on 10 on the E string. So it sounds like this. And with all of this stuff, as you get more comfortable with the notes, I know it's gone through fairly quickly, but obviously you can stop this video and kind of listen to bits over and over. With all of this stuff, once you get the hang of what the chords are and the kind of the timing and the change, you just stick in your own funky bits of the whole kind of. Stick a little bit of wobble on there as well to give it some finesse. Okay, so have fun with it. I hope that was all right. Work your way through it slowly. Listen to the record and rock on. I'll see you later.